So I'm here with Denis Frimpong. What's up, my man?
All
Good
good,
news,
all
you're
good.
fighting in, in 2 months already. So you got the fight against TOPALLAJ. You told me you're already back in camp. So how is it for you to fight him against a hostile crowd and all the noises behind this fight?
Um, I don't know if it's gonna be a hostile crowd this time. I think the German fans actually like me more than they like him. Um, we're not fighting in Albania, we're fighting in Germany. And I think ich bin ein Deutscher, ich bin ein Deutscher. So yeah, I think like that a lot of the German fans have been messaging me saying they hope I smash him. I think the German fans like me. Um, and I think the German fans believe in me, so I don't think it will be as hostile of a crowd. Obviously, Aryan's going to have his fans there, but I think it will be like 50-50.
Were you surprised that the German fans are against him after this accident he made?
Um, I wasn't surprised because obviously the German fans, MMA fans, they care about like respect, between martial artists, and I think he made himself look like a bit of a knob because I walked up to him, I asked him nicely, when are we going to fight then? Just was like trying to make a fight. And then he couldn't control his emotions, and he ended up pushing me in the face and stuff like that. And I don't think the German fans appreciated that. So, yeah, like it worked out badly for him posting that thing, so.
Yeah, I saw like everybody saw you approach him really respectful. You just asked him, you caught him, hey bro, when we gonna fight? He act like, yeah, not respectful and then pushed you off the face and then the security guys carry you away. Is the fight personal now for you or is it just you wanna go in and punish him?
It's never personal for me, it's never personal for me. Like at the end of the day, I don't know him in his personal life. He doesn't know me in my personal life. Outside of, both being fighters for Octagon, I don't know anything about him. He could be a really nice guy. He does like some work with kids, you know. He probably doesn't know. I coach kids, and I try and get kids off the street and help the community. So yeah, like it's not personal for me. Maybe it is for him, but not for me. On top of that, he's Muslim as well. I'm Muslim, so we're brothers in that way. Um, at the end of the day, like he's just in my way. He's in the way of my dreams. He's in the way of my goal, which is to become Octagon champion. Um, he's just another stepping stone. So after the fight, I hope he can be, healthy and safe and go back to his family and go back to his friends healthy and safe. Um, and I hope that he hopes the same for me, at the end of the fight, because at the end of the day, we're just two guys with the same dream. We're just two guys on the same path. We probably have more in common with each other than we have in common with someone that doesn't do martial arts,
Yeah.
We're part of like a small, tiny percentage of people in the world who do martial arts. So we have more in common with each other than not in common with each other, if that makes sense. So no, it's not personal for me. It's just competition, and yeah, obviously there's going to be some trash talk and stuff like that. We want to sell the fight, we want to make it interesting, and we want to make it a little bit more heated. But other than that, no, I'm just going to go in there. I'm going to do my job. I'm going to do my business, and I'm going to show my skill set off.
Okay. So now, you handled Robbie his first loss, and Topalai got his first loss against Nafuka. You and Nafuka are cool. So we saw the fight against Nafuka. He cannot really get up from his pressure, cannot get free from the ground against Nafuka. Nafuka is a strong guy, good build, good grappling skills. He was a little bit defensive, like Nafuka was not too offensive. So how are you gonna approach this fight? You wanna stand a little bit, you gonna finish early, you wanna punish him for that, or what is
Um,
your goals for that?
um, like yeah, it's not. I can't even really watch the Nafuka fight and game plan around that because Nafuka has a very different style to me in terms of fighting. He has a very different approach to fighting. My approach to fighting is very much beat the guy up, force him to shoot a takedown, and then if that becomes grappling, then we grapple from there. But I want to knock people out. I'm trying to knock people out. I'm not trying to submit people. If the submission's there, I'll go for it, but I'm trying to knock you out for the most part. Um, so yeah, it's not really like, that's not going to be my approach to the fight. I'm hoping that for my first time in Octagon, I'm going to fight someone who isn't going to shoot a takedown on me. I hope TOPALLAJ will stand with me, and we can have a stand-up fight like men. But I'm not going to hold out too much hope for that because every fight I've had, whether it was Robin Frank, Callum Mullen, Jan Siraki, all these guys said they're going to knock me out. They're going to punch me in the face. They're going to knock me out. And all of them within, I think Callum Mullen lasted the longest on the feet, 1.5 minutes. He shot a takedown. Robin Frank, within 30 seconds of the fight, shot a takedown. Jan Siraki, 15 seconds into the fight, shot a takedown. So I end up having to just grapple with these guys. But I hope that Aryan will actually, even if I punch him a couple times and he gets a bit hurt, that he'll actually just try and stand and fight. And if he gets knocked out, he gets knocked out. Because that's what I'm going to do. Like, if I get hurt, I'm going to keep fighting on the feet, and if I get knocked out, I get knocked out. And if he gets knocked out, he gets knocked out. We go, as the Greeks would say, come back with your shield or on your shield, you know? So I don't throw my shield down. I'm gonna come back on my shield, or I'm gonna come back with my shield in his head.
Okay, you saw the last fight 1 year ago. TOPALLAJ fought in Stuttgart against Risavi, and he
Yeah,
just charged in the first round and get the
yeah,
finish. Are you prepared for, some fighters are like that. They just charge in their first minute, they go all in, like just kill or be killed. Are you
yeah.
prepared for this, or are you happy about this?
Um, so first thing to address that, Harold Wasabi's a featherweight. Yeah. So, and I don't think he's very good, to be honest. Like, no disrespect to Carl, but I don't think he's very good. He was scared to fight me. Um, yeah, I think he just got caught. He got caught with a shot, and then he kind of backed up and curled up, put his hands up like that, and just got bombed out. If Aryan tries that with me, he's gonna gas out, and then what's gonna happen is I'm gonna take over, and I'm gonna drag him into deep water. That's the plan for me. Like, I'm not looking really for. I never look for a finish. If a finish comes, it comes. But I don't go out into a fight thinking I'm gonna finish this guy this way. I would much rather get a decision with 30-24. 10-8 round, 10-8 round, 10-8 round, 30-24. Because that person, after that fight, like Robin Frank, it was 30-26, I think. He was broken. I can tell you now for a fact, he never wants to fight me again. If you knock someone out in 10 seconds, they can always say, oh, he got lucky, it was a lucky
Lucky
punch,
punch, yeah.
I didn't see it, he hit me with something, I made a mistake. But if you get dominated 10-8, 10-8, 10-8, that means there was no luck. That means the guy was just way better than you. He dominated you. He made you like his child, almost. So that's my plan. My plan is to dominate Aryan for 3 rounds, 30-24, absolutely just destroy him. Make it to the point where by the 3rd round he's like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Okay, so how do you manage your camera now? It's like, I think you're still in shape because you fight is like couple days ago, like you're
Yeah,
still fresh. So
yeah,
now you're back in camp. Is it easier for you to fight like back on back or
yeah.
take a time off?
It just depends really. Like, obviously, before the Robin Frank fight, I wasn't really active for a while. I had like quite a while out without any fights. So I wanted to get active again. Probably, obviously after this fight, I'm gonna have my son. So I'll probably be out for like a few months, at least until my child's a bit older and I can get back to sleep after staying up all night with baby feeds and stuff. Um, so yeah, I feel like it is easier to just get back into camp. Obviously last week I took it a bit easy. I was still training, but not like anything too crazy, just like a lot of saunas and like some bike. cardio, a little bit of lifting weights. This week I'm back in camp, and as you said, I'm already fit. I'm already on weight. You know that we're fighting at 74 kilo, not 70, so I can even eat more, which is good. And yeah, I'm just gonna build off. Everyone saw how fit I was in the Robin Frank fight. You know, round three I was still putting it on him. So I'm just gonna build on that fitness and get even more fit. You know.
So you and Shem are gonna fight probably on the same card. Makes it you gonna corner him, or maybe he gonna corner you like the last fight. Makes it easier for you that you have a guy like a friend of you can are in preparation together.
We're good friends. We probably will train a little bit together during the camp. I don't know if we're gonna corner each other because our fights are probably gonna be quite close together.
Yeah.
So it won't be possible. But I do have a surprise cornerman, which will be nice. I'm sure. I'm not going to reveal who it is yet, but I will have a surprise cornerman in my corner. Um, and yeah, it's nice to be on the same card as Shem again. You know, we were supposed to fight on the same card in Manchester with Octagon. Obviously, the Pokorny thing happened with the kick and stuff like that. We ended up fighting. The first time we both fought on the same card was in Birmingham. We both won. I won against Callum. He won against Katakoli. And this is going to be the second time now, basically 1 year later, that we're fighting on the same card. Hopefully both on the main card now, because I mean I don't see why me and Aryan shouldn't be on the main card. I believe we should be. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of energy in the hotel. On fight week, you know, we're probably going to cut weight together. It's going to be good. It's going to be, it's always nice having a fight week with your good friend there, you know, so.
So when you guys plan to, or like you and your team, when you plan to fly to Munich, how many days earlier you gonna do all your work in Manchester and then come ready to Munich, or you gonna fly a few
Um,
days later, earlier here?
um, Obviously, like, you know, my wife's quite heavily pregnant. She's going to be even more heavily pregnant at that time, so I'm probably just going to fly out like a few days before, you know, because I've got to look after her as well. It's already annoying for me already that like I have to be gone for 4 days, you know, 4 or 5 days away from my family while my wife's heavily pregnant, you know, and but yeah, I'm probably gonna come out like a few days before, get there, cut the weight, do my media obligations, do the press conference, smoke TOPALLAJ, make a blood eagle, you know, and then come back on Sunday with another win.
So if you decide you're gonna train in Munich somewhere, you don't have to say that gym because maybe the fans
Um,
gonna rush there.
yeah, potentially. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Like, I mean, usually in the hotel, the fighter hotel, there is some training facilities, so we'll probably do a little shakeout with Shem in there with a couple of my cornermen that I'm gonna have with me. You know, I'm probably gonna bring Dan again. So yeah, it'll be a good little week.
Um, how do you handle all this? We know this fight right now is really hyped, because this happened on Stuttgart, like an octagon in Stuttgart. Now, Topala has a lot of fans. Albanian community supports him. Even some German fans, not only Germans, but fans from Germany are against him. So this fight is really hyped up right now. So it's this building up like go crazy. I saw your Instagram yesterday, just exploded with followers. You posted it on your story, just like tons of people just following you, and also the comments on your posts. How you handle all this? You enjoy this? You said like your week has 8 days. So how you handle
Um,
this?
yeah, so I just had my eighth day yesterday. You know, this is the first day of the week for me now. Yeah, basically, I find it fun. All the Albanian fans have been going back and forth a little bit, but to be honest, like they're quite respectful, the Albanian fans. And I respect them for that. Sometimes they'll give me some abuse. They'll realize that actually I'm not actually a bad guy. And then they'll kind of be like, oh, you know what? It's a good fight for the fans. We wish you the best of luck. We're supporting Aryan, but we hope you the best as well. We hope you have a healthy camp, stay healthy, and so I like the Albanian fans for that. As I said, they're all my Muslim brothers. Most Albanians are Muslim as well, so they're my Muslim brothers at the end of the day. And like, yeah, it's going to be a good fight between two warriors. Um, we're going to shake hands afterwards and maybe even train together afterwards as well, you know. But for now, it's like war mode. You know, he's an enemy. He's my target. And yeah, I have to shoot this eagle down.
Like you said, he blocked you on Instagram, on social media. So because maybe you was on his set already, in his set already.
Yeah.
I see you laughing. A lot of people say, like Dennis is like that. This is you, is your personality. You think you are in his set already?
You know what? He didn't actually block me. It's weird because sometimes like I'll go to tag him in something and like his name won't show up, but then later on I'll go to tag him in something again and he will show up. So it's weird. I don't know. I think that was just Instagram being weird. I don't think he's actually blocked me. And to be honest, this is the first time in Octagon that I've had a guy that sort of talking trash back a little bit. You know, he's been talking some trash on his YouTube vlogs and stuff like that. Um, and it's good because we can go back and forth a little bit. I know the press conference is going to be more interesting because he's going to give something back, you know, and that's good. I enjoy that. I want to see if someone can test me in the verbal, but I don't think he can test me in the verbal. I think I'm the undisputed champ when it comes to trash talk. So
Maybe we can make a bet for this too.
get Octagon to make one.
Yeah, we can tell him in the press conference. So we see the card in Munich is stacked. Even if Shamrock's opponent got pulled off, like he's injured. So what do you think about what is gonna be fans' favorite fight that night? Also, Dulatov is fighting again. We don't know his opponent.
Which Dulatov Tamerlan?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Dulatov's interesting. Like, I know he's not got a big record, but like everyone's talking a lot about him, you know. So yeah, that'll be an interesting one. The top fan favorite fight. I think if Arian is a man about it and doesn't shoot a takedown for my legs and start hugging me, I think the fight between me and him can be the fight of the night for sure. You know, because it'll be a stand-up war. I basically just wanted to be me and him, and we do some kickboxing. You know, no grappling, no none of this grappling bullshit. We do like Justin Gaethje, you know, like just stand and bang, bro. You know, like I think if that's the case, then it can be one of the fights of the night. It can be a really good fight, a really real fan favorite fight. Probably even early contender for fan fight of the year. Um, but yeah, we'll see. You know, because like I said, I always think, oh, the guy's gonna stand with me for once, and then they don't. They just shoot and hold on and like try and grab my legs and sniff my crotch and stuff like that.
So what are your expectations after you take then your time off, like because you become a dad and your family grows? Let's say you win in your next fight,
Yeah.
who you wanna face next?
Um, I think the German fans like me, and I think after I beat TOPALLAJ, they're gonna like me even more. So I think I'm gonna keep fighting in Germany. You know, there's a few more German cards later in the year. There's a few German opponents that look quite tasty. You know, um, obviously I have some background with the likes of a Hassan Shaban.
Hmm.
I don't think he's had a fight in a while, but who knows? Maybe he could be an opponent. Um, I know Fedor Duric is another one. You know, maybe I beat another. I know he has a fight against Bogdanovic, but
Yeah.
if he wins that fight, he's like 8-0. He's undefeated, and then I can be the guy to take another O from a German. Um, and then of course, like outside of the German opponents, I have Jakub Banik, who could be another potential opponent. You know, I think he's a good, striking matchup again, like a good boxer, good striking. He's in the top 10. So we have options. We have options there. But as you said, I'm not looking past Arian TOPALLAJ. He's a 7-1 prospect, 7 finishes. He's not an easy task by any way, shape, or form. So let's just get past this one first.
Like I said earlier, the first loss is always special to any fighter. Like we talked to each other, you told me about your first loss. Now you handle your first loss to Robin Frank. How do you think Topala is going to come back after? Because he got dominated against Nafuka, in the stadium in Frankfurt, like in front of 60,000 people, bigger
Yeah,
than ever. A lot of
yeah,
spotlight on this fight.
yeah.
How you think he's going to come back? You think Nafuka broke him in this ended night?
Um, so it depends. It can go one of two ways, right? So obviously, when you're undefeated, you have an air of confidence. You're gonna be like confident, right? Like, no one's beaten me yet. No one's gonna ever beat me. So when you get dominated like that, it can either really motivate you. So maybe he's really worked on his grappling, maybe he's come back different, or it can break you, like you said. So we're gonna see. I don't think I expect the best version of Ariane Topolai to come out in May. I expect him to be motivated, hungry, not wanting to lose two fights in a row. Because if you lose two fights in a row, like it's heavy. Um, and I know what it feels like to get dominated by a grappler like that. I fought George. I got dominated in that way. And I know I came back heavily motivated. Like I came back ready, to kill. So I'm expecting that version of Aryan. That's the version of Aryan I'm expecting. I'm expecting him to come hungry, come prepared. He's doing his camp in All Stars in Sweden. So I'm expecting him to come ready and prepared and ready to go three rounds of war. I'm also coming in ready. I'm riding a wave of momentum. I've just beat an unbeaten prospect, dominated him. A fighter that I believe is actually a harder fight than Topalai. I believe Robin Frank's a harder puzzle to solve than Topalai is. So yeah, it's a battle of wills now. My will against his will. We're gonna clash, and then we're gonna see whose will is stronger and whose skill is better.
You seem very relaxed. Do you feel any pressure before you fight?
You know what? I Before I ever started MMA, I used to get in a lot of street fights, right? In school and like when I got a bit older, in nightclubs and stuff like that. And with street fights, there isn't that, oh, we're gonna fight on this day in 2 months. It's just you're there, you get in an argument, and it happens, and you're fighting, and you don't know, is someone gonna hit me with a bottle? Is 10 guys gonna jump in? If I get knocked out, are the guys gonna stop? There's no referee to pull the guy off. So I got in so many of those types of fights that like when I fight in MMA now, like what's the worst that can happen? The worst thing that can happen is I get knocked out. The guy lands like three, four more shots, and then the referee pulls him off and I lost. I don't really care about that. Like so I don't really feel pressure. I know how good I am. I know the people that I train with. I know the level of skill that they bring, and I know the rounds that I'm having in my gym. I don't need to go do my camp in Sweden or in America or in Thailand. I know how good the gym I'm in is. I know how good my training partners are, and I know the level that they can bring me to. And I know the places they can push me to, in terms of deep water. We talk about deep water. So I don't feel pressure when I come up against these guys because I know how good I am. Um, and I know that if on my day I can beat anyone, I can beat top 10 UFC guys on my day. I can be a top 10 UFC guy. So
So, like I see, you enjoy to fight in Germany also. Like we said, hostile crowd is a question mark right now. We don't know because you get a lot
yeah.
of support. Do you want to bring this card in Ireland maybe or in England?
Oh, for sure. I love fighting in Germany. Um, I have some family in Munich actually. Some of my family are from Bavaria. Um, I just found out, like my mum just told me like a few days ago as well that my great grandmother, so my mum's grandmother, is actually from the Sudetenland and she's German.
Yeah.
So I have a connection with Germany. Obviously, I was born in Austria, so I have a connection with Germany. I have a connection with the German people. I think that natural connection is what they realize that's what probably they like. So yeah, I really enjoy fighting in Germany. Obviously, like I can't wait to fight in Munich. I'm hoping maybe later in the year I can fight in Frankfurt. And then I don't know if they're doing a Berlin card this year, but like I would love to fight in Berlin. You know, that would be amazing. Maybe even in Munich later in the year again. You know, but I would love to just keep fighting in Germany. I enjoy the German crowd. I enjoy the German fans. You know, I enjoy fighting the German fighters. And yeah, at some point, I think me and will bring Octagon to Ireland. I fought on Octagon in England 3 times already. I don't need to fight in England again. I need to bring Octagon to Ireland, to Dublin, you know, and get the fans in Ireland what they really want to see, you know. But until that happens, I'm quite happy to just keep fighting in Germany. Like I said, Frankfurt, Munich again, Berlin, Hamburg, you know, wherever it happens to be, you know, Stuttgart again maybe next year. Who knows?
Tell us about something the Irish fans. Like we talk here in Stuttgart, you said even if there are 5,000 people only, they're gonna boo you, like they're gonna feel this energy. Tell us about the Irish fans. How are they gonna welcome a
Well,
hostile guy?
everyone knows what the Irish fans are like, you know, in any sport, whether it's football, whether it's whether it's rugby, whether it's boxing, you know, we saw what they did with Conor McGregor, you know, that was what made him so big, the Irish fans. Um, so yeah, like I think, you know, obviously the Three Arena is the arena in Dublin that I believe if Octagon was to come to Dublin, they would do the Three Arena. It would have to be the Three Arena. There's 13,000 capacity there. If you get a full 13,000 capacity in the Three Arena, it's gonna feel like 30,000. You know, it's gonna feel like way more because listen, we're Irish. The Irish love a drink. You know, the Irish love a drink. We love to get a drink into us. We love to get boisterous. We love to sing. We love to chant. We love to cheer. So I do believe that if they got the Three Arena hopping, like it would be one of the best Octagon events of all time, and Octagon would really love to keep going there. They would make it an annual thing. If they did it once and it was a success, they would make it every year. We have to go to Dublin, you know?
Stuttgart was a little bit quiet, like you said. Remember, like you said, you can hear a pin drop. The
Yeah.
Stuttgart fans were sold out. The arena was almost sold out or
Mm.
sold out. But the fans are in Stuttgart, especially a little bit quiet. They enjoy more the show. They're not
Yeah.
going that much crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think in Munich gonna be different because the guys are built a little bit different, and also the Albanian fans gonna support more loudly.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So
I hope so. I hope so.
this gives you more goosebumps and energy for this fight.
Yeah, because it is energy, you know, like I believe that, you know, every all energy cannot be created or destroyed, right? It can only transfer. So even if it's booing, you still get that like sonic energy, you know, that like that sound, and I transfer that energy into motivation and into kinetic energy. So when I go and, you know, when I hit Ariane and they ooh, you know, or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
something happens, you know, ooh, you know, like that those bits of energy you can feed off that. I believe I feed off that. You know, I'm a natural performer. I love being in front of the crowd. Um, I feel weird, you know. I fought an octagon challenge in front of like 50 people, you know, in like a gym. There wasn't any crowd, and it felt weird, you know, because there was no like, way, ooh, ooh, you know what I mean? Like, you don't get that feedback.
Yeah, you can
So
hear
yeah,
every breath, you can hear every whisper,
yeah,
like yeah.
yeah, you know. So and like, don't get me wrong, in Stuttgart, I enjoyed the fact that like, even though it was 15,000 people sold out, I could still hear my corner because the crowd wasn't very loud. But I also want to hear the crowd going mad in Munich when I walk out, when Ariane walks out, when I knock Ariane out, you know, when I land on Ariane, I want the crowd to woo, you know what I mean? I want the big reaction, you know?
Your walkout song in Stuttgart was like Rammstein, Du hast mich.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
we can expect for Munich.
Well,
You don't have to
I'm not,
spoiler.
I'm not gonna spoil it, but I'm just gonna say it's gonna be a big change of vibe. It's gonna be a big change of vibe. It's not gonna be what people expect.
I'm curious to see what song you plan to work out this time. Okay, my friend. There were my questions. We're gonna see each other in Munich at the press
For
conference.
sure.
We can have maybe some food after the weigh-ins.
Yeah.
What are your final words to the fans, and also what can you expect from you?
Um, Final word to the fans, to the German fans. Deutschland, ich liebe dich. Um, Buy your tickets. Come to see the show in Munich. Um, if you can't come see the show, buy the pay-per-view on Octagon TV. Make sure you watch me smoke this Albanian eagle. Um, yeah, that's all I have to say. See everybody in Munich. Um, obviously after the fight, I will be in the crowd. Come take a photo if you want. I'm not an asshole. I don't bite. So, yeah,
Okay, that's it for me, guys. If you like this kind of stuff, maybe one day I can go and visit Denis in Manchester. We can train together. So if you like that, what we're doing here, like, subscribe, support us a little bit, and then we're gonna make a training session with Denis. Denis, appreciate for your time, brother. Wish you all the best for your kid coming up, and we're gonna see Munich. We're gonna talk to each other in a few days or maybe tonight. Thanks for your
nice
time,
one,
brother. Wish you all the best, and I'm
nice one.
excited for your fight, my man.
Appreciate it. Nice one, lad. Thanks for having me on.
See you, brother. Thank you.
See you later. Bye bye.